Hello everyone, this is Paula and I'm back today to follow up on the last part where we did the bags. And what we're doing is just doing something different with bags, basically, and making ephemera out of it and so forth. So I took some old bags. These are some old bags I have. They're, florals. I probably got them at Michael's or Hobby Lobby, or, it was Hobby Lobby because they're Paper Studio. And so we're going to take the goodies out of this and we're going to make this. So this goes in a bigger journal, like a 9x6, okay? Let me make sure of the exact measurements. Hope you guys are good today. I'm staying busy. Okay, this is 8.5 by 4 3/4. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is, they're decorated already. If they still have them, they'll probably have something similar. You know how they do. So this is a little glassine bag here in the front, and it measures 3 1/4 by 4 3/4. And then the medium size is just a pastel blue bag, and it measures 5 1/2 by 4. So you're going to need those 3 size bags, okay? And then you're going to need to cut some 1-inch tea stained paper is the best because it's not as heavy, to attach it to your page, okay? Now, this is going to attach, like this particular one, you can decide how you want it to attach. But I'm attaching, here it is right here. I'm attaching the back side of the bag, which this is the front with the small pocket. You can do it any way you want as far as putting the small and the big bag on, okay? You just want to make sure it works in any journal that you're going to make. But you're only going to have this one big piece of trim on one. So we're going to pretend that this paper right here is the book. So we're going to do it from a right side page right here. So you're going to take this that you have here on the side, and you're going to slide it under the page, okay? And then you're going to glue down what flips over to the other side, okay? So you're going to glue that right here to the other side of the page. And all my stuff is in the way here. And I would bring it down to the, to the bottom of the page personally. You can do it however you want. And you can make it any height you want. So you can use any bags to do this. I didn't want to go crazy on decorating the bags, so I just added some wallpaper from Tailor Made Journals on Etsy. I'll link her below. Has beautiful wallpapers. You can go in and decorate your bags that are plain if you want to. And I decorated both sides. I put lace on both sides. Yeah, on all 3 bags. So that's simple. And then once this is glued, you can flip it open, okay? And it's going to be open right here once it's glued, just like that. If you don't like this, you can add washi to it. You can do whatever you want to it. And then this one well, of course, this would be attached. Let me hold it. Not a very good demo here, huh? Okay, you could open it like this, and then it opens out. And you can't probably see, can you? There we go. It's going to open out like that. Close in to your book page. Close in. So there you go. If you don't want them all to be pockets, some of them can be tucks. You're the decider. You're the decider, which is perfect grammar of what happens with your bag. And you could put the little tea stain strip on either side. But we're going to make one right now out of this. And I'm going to set this aside for now so I can get you concentrating. So we're going to use with this one, since we've got a lot of pink in here, we're going to use this, this bag. And I like it having, let me see, I like it having, I did the other one with the small bag in the front, but I like the big bag in the back. Okay, so I'm going to lay it back here like I want it to be, facing, you know, the other side of the page. And then this one is going to be right here. Now remember, you want the front sides of the bags facing the right direction. Okay, so we're going to have them on both sides, both on the left side here. On this one, we had them, wait a minute, you want them on the opposite side. Wrong, Paula. I was wrong. What can I say? So we're going to do it like this. All right. Now, before we're going to ever glue a sack down or anything, we're going to make sure we have our little tea stain strip glued down and folded in half so that it can be a flip on a page. Okay. So what we're going to do is, let's see. This is the front. And so we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and glue this. I want it to fit the left side this time. So I'm going to flip it over and glue it to fit the left side. Now, I've already cut this one to fit. And you want to make sure you glue it onto the bag like this with the folded side in. And bring it as far down as you can. Or if you have a shorter one, you want to make sure it's in the center. And all the way to the very edge of the bag. Okay, so that's what we're doing now. Let's get this one on here. Okay, and you want to make sure all the little corners and stuff are covered. All right. Now, you want to kind of bring it open a little bit. But remember, the folded side's going to go toward the bag. So you're just going to put it down as close as you can. You don't want to see the bag. You don't want it out past the bag. You want it flush with the bag. Okay? Okay. Now, there we go. So this is on. You want to make sure there's no glue on the inside anywhere. Everything is, you know, where it's not going to stick to the other thing. Okay, so we're going to put the small bag in the front. Now, I'm going to do the small bag on the side that this strip is on. This little bag, okay? And I'm going to line it up right here. And I want to make sure that I also attach it appropriately. So I did another strip, actually another 2 strips. I just got to get the right strip with the right bag. And I'm going to fold those in half. And they'll be, this one will be for this little bag. Now, we want this little bag to be flipped over like it's going to be lying on the book if it were open. So just like that. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put this with the folded side in on the bag right there. And just glue it down the very same way. We're just going to get it all glued together before we decorate it. Now, this book is not going to, I mean, this pocket or bag pockets, whatever you want to call them, are not going to be over decorated because of the bulk it will cause in your book. Okay, and that's why I just put paper that I made copies, a used copy paper that I made copies of her wallpapers with, so it's not super bulky and heavy. Make sure there's no glue anywhere. Make sure your bag is flush right here. Now, we're with the gluing it on this side, okay? And gluing this one on this side. So we're going to glue right, we're going to put glue on the other side and put it right there. So fold your strip in. And you always want to make sure you have a good fit to anything you attach that's going to flip out. Now, you know, everybody does it different. Some people use washi. I personally know that washi does not hold very well. And if I'm going to sell something, I want to make sure. Now, it's okay to decorate with, but I would still put glue on it. Make sure you can't see your other bag behind. You want to make sure this is flush. And once you get it on here, you want to make sure that it's lying flat. Now, see, it's not. So what I'm going to do, before it dries, you don't want to use a fast-drying glue if you don't have to. I'm going to push this strip out till it feels like this can lay flat. And it does. Now, that's when you know you have it on there correctly. Never wait to check that, okay? So we're going to, we've got our flip out bag here, okay? So flip it over on the back side of the large bag and get your little pink bag here, which we're going to leave this little pink bag pink because, you know, why color something we don't have to color, right? So the pink bag is going to go on the opposite side, which means right over here, okay? And it's going to also, you want to do the right side up on the one you're working on. It's going to be right here. Take your tea stain paper. I cut my tea stain paper 1 inch wide, but I also cut the height, not including the little flapped area on the top of the bag. You don't include this. Just cut it to the opening of the bag. That way I know it's not getting in the way of anything. I got that a little crooked, so I'm trying to fix it. Let's see if I can get back to where I was here. It may not be perfect. If you don't get it, you know, as close to perfect as you can, it makes it kind of hard to keep this bag straight. Okay, so now I'm going to flip this out, and we're going to put the cut side in on the bag, just like we've done on all of them. And we're going to put the bag, put the strip on the bag, and then also check and make sure it can lay flush as well. Don't put it on the big one. Each one has its own strip. Okay. Now, let's get that over here. And, yeah. Now, you know, rub it down. Make sure there's no glue anywhere. And then you go over here and glue this other portion onto your big bag. Or your largest bag. Okay, you're going to hold your bag like this, glue it down, bring it as far down as you can, or at least that's how I'm doing mine. If you want yours up in the air, you can do it however you want. I like mine to be kind of balanced. Okay, now I'm going to open it and make sure there's no glue anywhere. And see, it is laying perfectly flat, so we don't have to make any adjustments. Now let's fold it in. There we go. Now, I've got stuff falling off shelves. I almost think I have ghosts sometimes. So, You don't have to cover your other bags. Like I'm not going to cover this one because, you know, it matches well enough. I don't know if I wrote on that with a pencil. It looks like I did. We don't need that on there. Okay, so we're going to flip it over and we're going to decorate the glassine bag because I can and I want to. So, I forget what we said it measured. So, I'm going to measure it again real quick. It is 3 by, I think it's 3 by 4. No, 3 by 5. Okay, 3 by 5. So, you're going to go just like 3 and, you know, just a little bit down. You don't have to take it down much. Just enough to make sure it fits there. It was 3 by 4, so I'm going to take it down a little bit off there. And I'm using avocado paper, avocado dyed. And that way I know it, you know, it will fit. Oh, what did I do? Huh, I cut it wrong. That's what I did. Okay, so I tried to cut it at, just a second here. All right, there we go. I tried to cut it. I had it wonky. I didn't have it correct. Is basically what I did. Okay. So I need to take about 1 inch off, which it'll be 3 3/8. Okay. Nope, that's not right. What is my deal today? 3 1/4. See if that's right. This is called a guessing game. Okay, I'm going to tell you what it ends up. I'm going to cut it. It actually should be 3. So there we go. I got it a little high, so I'm going to cut some. This is how I do in this sort of thing. I just measure. Some people that would drive crazy. I'm sorry. That's just how I do it. I'm not inking any of this because of pastels. And, you know, I always like those to look cleaner and not all grungy looking on white and pastel. So, yeah. Good grief. Whoops. The glue is just flying out of this bottle. So there's no telling what we'll end up with. All right, and then you're going to put your glue on here. And because we liked the color of the other bag, we don't have to do anything. But if you wanted to pick a second color in this book, such as yellow, you could do that. You could do it any color you want. Now, I don't know if I'm going to have enough to cover the inside because I flubbed up. Yeah, let's do this. We can use it with this one. It'll have a little bit of a fold. What can I say? And, let's see. I'm trying not to mess this one up. If you wanted to, you could go ahead and run your paper over. Somehow, what am I doing? I'm not paying attention to what I need is what I'm doing. So I'm just going to run a strip across there. This is not a big deal for me. Okay. So I know it has to be this same width, which is 3. So let me cut that first. And I'm going to cut about 1 inch. I have been measuring and cutting and measuring and cutting and haven't messed this one up yet. But obviously, you know, I do cover the one side of the trim, that's tea stain trim. Now, in this situation, if you have enough avocado paper, you can go ahead and cover whatever you want to cover. You could go all the way across if you wanted to. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this part down, and when I add my lace on, I will, it's going 2 different directions, of course. Let me try doing it the right direction. That's too short. I picked up the wrong scrap, didn't I? Okay. Try this again. That's better. It's not perfect, but it's better. Okay. And I'm just hitting it with my fingernail on where to cut it. So my fingernail should be somewhat correct. That's the wrong side, goober. Okay. So we're going to glue this little strip right here. And instead of putting our lace up at the top of the bag, we can always put it on the seam of the pink avocado paper. Okay. Because we're going to be putting lace on there. And then we won't notice that it's going an opposite direction. All right. Finally. All right, so here's what we end up with. This is going to be the front. Sorry, my bracelet's being crazy today. So we're going to use this black seam binding. You know, I go thrifting, and, you know, I don't know if you guys remember when I got that huge bag of vintage stuff. This was in there. And the way it was packaged, it was like packaged to be, how many cents was it? 39, 49 cents, something like that for the package. My scissors are getting dull. They used to be my sewing scissors, but they don't like to sew anymore. Okay. So I'm going to cut these just a little big, and I'm going to cut 2 because we have the back here to deal with also, or the other side. And then we're going to cut 2 for right up here. And then I always like to make sure I get the right length, so I'm just going to trim them once they're glued down. And then we're going to take and measure across this one. So we got our quartz bathroom vanity top in this last week. I may have told you guys this, and it was damaged, of course. I feel like all of our remodeling has gone like this, you know. Things never are perfect. Everything we've done, like the shower door wasn't the right size. We get home and or they deliver it, I should say. And we wanted white. It was white, but it was, had a huge scratch across the front. There's nothing more irritating when something comes from somewhere else. We had the hardest time finding white or black granite. We couldn't decide. And then my friend told me that black is a nightmare. So I went with white. That way I can change the decor in there anytime I want. So that's what I did. I've had white, you know, before, so I'm not too concerned with it. Now you're going to kind of lean your scissors to get it, trim it off so that it doesn't end up cutting your bag. Okay. I'm going to do the back side of this pink bag. Let me cut this first. Okay, let's flip that over. And I'm just going to do it the very same way. I'm going to put the glue across here. I just realized that I forgot to trim the top of this bag. You're probably thinking, the top of what bag? I used my pinking shears to make them all match. And what do? I forget to do this pink bag. I'll do it later. I don't have them upstairs. They're downstairs in my cart. So, yeah. Making sure that's straight. Pretty close. So don't forget to go to Etsy and check out my Traveler's Notebooks I have in there. It is a Traveler's Notebook set. I'm not calling it a kit because it's not a monthly kit or anything like that. It's just a spring and summer kind of thing. I made up several quality papers. I made them into covers for Traveler's Notebooks. And then I made ephemera. So, yeah, it was really, truly fun. Okay, it's just very time consuming. I didn't think about how much time it would actually take. But it takes a lot. Okay, so we're going to glue this across the top of this bag and kind of stick with this brown trim or coffee trim. And then kind of get that to come down a little bit. This one's pretty straight, so I'm going to put it right here. All right. Sadie is not happy because she's getting a bath today. Her daddy's going to give her a bath, and she is fussing downstairs. I can hear her barking at him. She watches him. She's so smart. Of course, what dog isn't? She watches him run the water and put out the shampoo, get a towel, you know, change the sheets in her crate, all the things you do so your dog is treated like a human. Anyway, and she knows when it comes to the leash coming off, and she goes outside, then comes in, and the leash comes off. And at that point, that's when she starts saying, mister, I know what you're up to. You think after they've had a bath, you know, every 2 weeks for their whole life, that they would, you know, pretty much accept it. Looks like I got that off a little bit, but whenever it came to fitting, this side was fine. So I don't know what I did, but you can't see it from this side. It's so weird. Okay, so this side is done. Now we're going to flip it over and do this small bag in the back. We're going to do the front of the big bag first since we were working on that one. And we're just going to go straight across the bag. Okay. Yeah, you want to get it on there as straight as you can. Without running it into the bag. I want to make sure that the glue is not going to close the bag because I got quite a bit on this one. So I'm going to kind of rub it off. Yep. It's under there. Okay. So I'm going to trim this off right here. It's easier when you just flip it over to trim it. That way you know it's going to fit nicely. Of course, you don't always have a flap over there. But, yeah. So there you go. Now we're going to do the front of this little bag. I'm going to wipe this tip off. It gets grody. Grody? I guess that's a word. I really don't know. Okay, here we go. Okay. May not be a proper word. Okay. You probably can hear her barking. She's fussing up a storm. And she also, once she gets in the bath, she, you know, cowers down and you get to give her a bath. She tries to get out like every other dog. But pretty much she cowers down, and as soon as she gets down and you blow dry her and the blow drying's over, that's when she really starts barking and telling you off. And what's funny about it is she'll follow you and nip your heels. Yeah, I always know whenever I'm bathing her that I'm in for my heels to be nipped. Sometimes she nips them pretty well. It's like I'm talking to you. Are you listening? Don't bathe me again. So our little bird's outside. That's in a bird's nest right on the topiary by our front door, which I told my husband we can't let that happen again. I'm going to go ahead and put this one on the line. And the reason I say that is right now the mother has abandoned the babies. And we, you know, we've been going out through the garage doing everything we can to follow the bird rule. Don't get near my babies. And, but today, my husband told me yesterday, he says, I think the mother has abandoned the birds. I said, what? She better not. But like a few days ago, I saw the birds' daddy feeding them, and she was coming back and forth too, but he was really going out and winning the bread, making the bread to give out the prize. And yeah, I put that one lower because I don't want to put it on that seam, but you don't have to. I mean, it's not like that seam's that big of a deal, right? Okay, so there we go. Here's the front. This is how it turned out, which, you know, is simple, but the different kinds of bags in the floral and then the pink, and I mean, it just is 3 different type of elements, and so that makes it nice. So here we go. You're going to hook this part on your book. If you leave it inside, you can flip this open here, and then here it's hooked down here, and you open it from being hooked on the side of the book. Then you've got this, then you've got this. So yeah, kind of fun, huh? So this is our first piece of ephemera for today. Now, I think we have time to do one more. And honestly, I think that's all we have is one more. Maybe 2. I have to look. Okay, let's move all this little black lace out of here. I don't put black lace on my snippets, so I'm going to toss that. Okay, now the next one's a little more complicated, and it's going to take a little bit more time. Let me see what we got. Okay, we're at 34 minutes, okay? So we're going to keep this going. Now, remember, you have to do the measuring according to what size your bag is. But on this one, you don't want a teeny tiny bag. So this is what we're going to make. I have tied the vintage seam binding around. This is our bag. Okay. My bag measures 6 by, let me see here, 6 by 9, a little over 9, about 9 1/4. But that's including the this top portion of the bag. And so I'm going to show you what it looks like first. And this is a good starter book. If you've never bound anything, this is a good little book to start with. And again, I'm using Laura, oh my goodness, Tailor-Made Journals wallpapers. And they're digitals, and she has, Lorna is her name. I had to give myself a minute. I knew your name, Lorna. Okay, so here it is. We just covered it and then used some bigger lace on the front with 3 of these little flowers. And it opens out like this, and you have a flap right here that's also going to be a pocket. Okay, see, we've got a little pocket right here that I just covered a tag, a craft tag, and put in there, and made it match, you know, the paper I covered the bag with. This one you will need 2 pieces. No, 1 piece. 1 piece. I hope that's correct, because that's all I've got, of Lorna's wallpaper, and it's made on the copy paper. And so you cover the whole bag. See, you're covering all the bag first. Cover all 6 sides and your tag with the paper, if you have enough paper. And then you take some tea stain paper or whatever, do 3 or 4 sheets, whatever you have. I've got 3 of this blue lined paper. Now, I don't want this real dark stuff, so I'm going to work from down here. And I know that I need it to be the same height as this one, so I'm just going to take my pencil and mark it. This is how I roll right here. Prior to that, I took the bag like this. When I can, I do. Okay, and now I'm going to measure the bag, and I want to leave about a 1/8 to a 1/4 of top on it, here and here. So we know this is 6, so I'm going to bring it in, let's say 1/4 on each, at least a 5 1/2. Okay, 5 1/2 is what we're going to make the height of our paper. Okay, and I'm going to cut 2 strips of this paper off here. Now, you may not always see this trimmer because it's too big for my table. I am going to get a new table. You know how grungy this one is. That's not the reason, but I want to get one that's a little bit bigger. So that's my goal. I'm going to pull this up just a little. There we go. Now, I'm going to have that paper, and then I'm just going to take it and put it up on this top portion. I guess I'm going to be using some of that darker paper also. And then just trim it from over here. And toss that. Now, we want to make sure that our paper is the right width as well. So the width of this paper, it looks like almost like a perfect square, doesn't it? Okay, that's the right height, and I bet it's about a little over half inch. It's about a half inch, almost an inch shorter. So I'm going to do like this, and I tell you what I usually do too. I'm going to put it in here, and I'm just going to take this and lay it next to it, especially when I do multiples, because just put your paper on there with your journal, eyeball it. Okay, it looks real close. Cut it. Make sure it's nice and straight first. The thing to remember is you can always trim it, okay? You can always trim it down. Now, I think I'm going to move this over for a second, and we're going to fold this and make it into a little book. Now, I'm going to make sure I've got the paper turned the way I want it. I want this darker side to be, let's see, on the inside, yeah. And this lighter side on the outside. So you're going to cover it, cover it. You're going to fold it in half and burnish it really well. You can use your scoreboard if you want to score it, but it's not necessary. but you do want to get it as flat as you can. And that way it will lay better. So basically what we're making is a small journal. Now, if you look right here, you can see that everything came out pretty close to perfect. I'm thinking that I might want the paper just a smidge shorter. I don't have to, but I'm thinking that's what I want to do. Now, this trimmer is not going to cut it when it's that thick. So I'm just going to lay it right here and see if I'm getting enough. Yeah. And then we're going to do the same thing by flipping it around. We're just taking a little bitty bit off. I've been hooked on tornado videos. And I got to tell you, I saw one tornado video pop up, and I've really never liked to watch tornado videos because they make me feel scared or nervous or whatever you want to call it. But I've really never studied tornadoes either. So I've been watching these videos and learning, and I feel much better about tornadoes now. I don't know why. I watched how the wall cloud, you know, you hear wall cloud and you know what it does and everything, and I did, but I never really just sat and watched one with, you know, when tornadoes would pop down. I might see something on the news in passing, but never like really seen anything. So I've been watching. Oh, I've got 2 pieces. You want to make 2 copies. So I do have 2 pieces of this paper. Now, we're going to fold our bag next. And now, at this point, you want to measure just this part to this part. Okay? You want it to be the correct size. So, I'm going to lay it right here like this. And I know that this is where I want it to line it up, so I get the same fold. I'm going to fold this in, and then I'm just going to fold it over. And when I first did it, I knew I wanted it to be 3 inches each section, so I just folded it over 3 sections. Okay, and so I slide this out, and then make sure it lines up really good on both sides of your bag so it's nice and straight. And this is where your bags vary a little bit, okay? And then I want to fold this one over, okay? You don't want to overlap the folds. So you want to make sure you're in the right spot. And you want to make sure you separate it and burnish it separately so it's nice and straight. Now, I will tell you, your bag will fluctuate on the size, you know. Now, I'm going to trim off this little edge of the bag. Excuse me. Felt the cough coming. Got to get a drink. Okay, now we're going to take our hole punch, and we're going to take a piece of this paper and put it inside here. Fold it in half, put it inside, because we're going to make the bag thicker. Because if you don't, it will mess up your little pocket. So your pocket's going to be what's going to be the outside of the journal. Okay, and you're just going to take, I use this big one. You're just going to take it centered in your bag, how deep you want the circle to be, and go. So, I know you've noticed when you try to cut thin paper that it chews up your bag and gets hung in your punch. Well, you just add some heavier paper in there with the side you're going to punch, and then punch them together, and it works fine. I know I'm a genius. No, I'm joking. Okay. Now we got to cut the paper, and we can't mess around. We don't want to run out of time. And this is the part that's going to probably take the longest. But we're not going to ink anything because we don't have time to ink anything. I'm going to put this as far up as I can. Let me see if you can see it. You can. Great. So, we're going to get our paper over here. And we're going to call this the top and this the bottom of the design, okay? So I'm going to measure right here. We want our paper to be 3 by 6, or just a little bit less. We need 1, 2, 3 by 6s, 3, 4 3 by 6s. So we're going to cut 4 3 by 6s. Okay, and we're just going to cut this trim off right here. I don't want that. It is a blue trim though, so that would have helped, right? Okay, 3 by 6. And we might get lucky and be able to get 2 out of each of these, but we'll see. 3 by 6. Okay, so now we're going to flip this around, and we're not going to be able to. Just going to get 1, 2. I don't remember what the other, I don't remember the reason it doesn't fit, but it didn't. Okay, so now, where's our bag? Here's our bag. I'm going to measure the inside right here first. And it is too much, so we're going to take about 1/8 of an inch off of both of them. Keep them in the right direction. So... and it doesn't matter if, you know, it fits absolutely perfect. So now we want to do the same thing again with the other side of the paper. So we're going to go 3 inches and 3 inches. And this will end up working perfect. Now, I'm going to hold this paper up here with both of these in the right direction. And I'm going to cut these 2. This is the fast way. If you're making multiples of these, if you're doing like Tina's, you know, mass making, this is a good way to do it. Okay, so we needed 4 of those. And now we need 2 of these, which is 2 4/8. So, wait a minute. No, 2 5/8. 2 5/8. I don't know what I was thinking. And it's going to be the same height as these. 2 5/8. And I hope we have the right size. So, this is what I'm thinking. We're not, but we're going to use what we've got left over. And I must have had 3 sheets when I did that. So we're going to do them 2 inches. And it will be fine. It will be fine. All right. We're going to do just like this. And we're going to get our paper. Going to make sure both of these are facing the up direction. Okay. Just like that. Lay them down. Have to do it upside down. Make sure they're the same height. The height's more important than them being the right width. You know. So, if I were you, I would cut 3 of Lorna's papers. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and see if we have enough for a tag. Well, we don't on that one, but we can put this one on here. So, we're going to cut, the tag is 2, so we're going to just go under 2, okay? They don't have to fit top to bottom on your tag. Just like this. Nope, we want them smaller. So we'll just cut them a little bit smaller. So that is fine. All right, so those should be right. They are. So I'm going to set those aside, move everything over. Everything should be the right size. Maybe we can see what we're doing now. And so we're going to take and glue all these down. But we want to do these two first and the front ones. Let's do the big ones first because we want to put our prettiest ones on the outside, right? The ones we like the best. And these may be a little wide. That may be why I didn't have enough. I got close, though. Be nice. Be nice. I got close. I'm just doing it very quickly is my problem. Okay. Plus, I'm not using accurate measuring. I'm not really caring is what I'm saying here. I just, you know, that's the thing about ephemera and about junk journaling, you know, where these don't have to be perfect. Okay, so there we go. Move that thing away again. And we're going to glue them down. I'm not going to use, I'm going to try not to use as much glue so I can go faster. You think that's going to happen with me? My problem is this stupid, I like my edges to stay down. I don't want edges folding up. And so that's where my problem comes in. My biggest problem. My family would tell you I have a whole lot more problems. Okay, here we go. So just center it and try to get as much the same on the top as you did on the bottom. Okay, and then we're going to take this one. Make sure you don't have glue everywhere because that won't be cool. Then we're going to go over here and do this one. Focus on your corners, Paula. You know, sometimes your hand just has a mind of its own. I didn't get in that corner. Okay, here we go. All right. Now, after this video, our next video will be to go back and decorate the things that, you know, we made. Except for the bags. If we don't have enough time to decorate these, we'll do what we have to do. Okay, so I'm going to put this little flap one on right here. And yes, it's not perfectly big enough. Let me make sure it's the right height as these others, because they're going to be next to each other. It's just a smidgen tall. Let me get just a little bit off. Okay, here we go. So I have this done. Now, ideally, this would be cut this size, but I didn't have enough paper. I didn't have enough paper. That's my fault. You know, I could have swore I only used 2 pieces on my other one. You know, you just forget when it's that short-term memory that starts going first. Or at least that's what I say. Okay. Now you want to just kind of, I usually look at the bottom or the top, and I'm going to put it as far back as I can. And what I am going to suggest we do is put a piece of trim right here. Yeah, that's going to be different, but that's what you do when you mess up, right? You do it a little different. Okay, so on the inside, I have this little piece of trim, and I'm going to leave it because we need it. Not going to worry about it. So it matches so well that it's not going to be a big issue. Okay. Get this over here. Put it in the right spot. Trying to see where the fold is. Make sure I get inside the fold. There we go. And do the same thing with these. Come on. Any other time, they'd be flying everywhere. And you'd be chasing them, right? It's like I get on the side and the glue stops. So just line them up on the bottom to match the best you can. One more. So we're going to need some twine to bind our little book here, or our little journal, or just something that you'd make notes in your journal on. This is going to be so lightweight, and you wouldn't have to put any flowers or anything on here, and you'd actually get your best result. But who can go without decorating, right? So here we go. This is what it's going to look like right here. And I'm going to go ahead and add this piece of lace while we're here. So we want to make sure that makes it onto the little journal, because we at least want to get the cover right. So I'm just going to go like this. Try not to go crazy. Okay, get it on here. I thought that I cut that straighter than I did, but I didn't. So let's just try to get it as straight as we can. I'll have to trim these, or this off. I'll have to trim it off. And you want to trim it just a tiny bit shorter than the paper itself. I'll come back and do that one. Not trying to waste any time work, because our video is going to be over. Okay, so let's go like this. I'm going to add the little bit of glue on here and get it down here. All right. Here we go. Now you're going to take your paper. I'll trim those up in a minute. I don't want to have to miss out on too much here. I'll just take that off for a second. So we're going to take our paper. You always put the flap to the left that is for the pocket, okay? We're going to take our paper, and it's going to go right here. You could put tea stain. I just didn't have any handy. And then this is going to go over. But we have to string it here. And let me see what time we have. We don't have time to string it. I'm sorry, guys. But you know how that works. And I just used 3 times the height of the book. Took my needle. I didn't use a template. I just poked 3 holes in it, and I'm going to show you that part real fast. Just took my little awl, lined my paper up where I wanted it right here, brought this up so I know I'm right in the crease, right? And you have the same amount of bag on the top as you do on the bottom. You get it in the very center. You lay it flat because it's a bag, and it will push it straight out. Line it back up. Make sure you're in the same spot. Okay, and then you're going to do the same thing. You'll just come down a little bit, and you'll push it. This is a different awl than I used yesterday. It does not want to go through the bag. Okay, And then right here on this one, there we go. So, yeah, so that works out great. And I'm going to just thread this if it will thread really fast. And we're just going to do it. I'll get this big needle. I know I can see to thread it quick. I started to say, watch me not be able to do that. So we got 1, 2, 3 links is what you need. All right. So you're just going to line your paper up just like you do for any journal. Put your needle in the middle. Now, on this one, yeah, I'm doing that. I did it inside. I'm just thinking out loud, excuse me. And then we're going to do it right here like this. And then we're going to pull it through real quick like. Keep about that much inside. Go back over here and come up through the top. And get my needle to cool it. I'm going to go right there. Okay. Oops, I just did that backwards. It's because I'm in a hurry, right? You guys do the same thing. Make sure when you do a book or a traveler's notebook or anything that you use strong. I'm going in the hole at the top now. Let you see that. It's kind of hard to see the hole on camera because it's blends in with this bag. But you want to make sure you go through the same hole at the top on the paper. And now on a book, you'd want to clip everything down, make sure everything's right. You know, because there's not much to this when you can do this really quick. A lot of people will just stitch their books that go inside their journals, and I try not to anymore because it looks nicer like this. Now, when you come back up the spine and you go into this middle hole, you don't want to snag that string that we went down, took the first trip down there with, because that will make everything difficult from here on out. So you just pull the same one. There we go. And you want to make sure your thread, you have a thread on each side of this string in the middle. Take your needle off. I use way too much thread. What else is new for me, right? Be careful because we're working with paper and not like an actual thick signature. All right. But this is the right. This being thin like this is fine with this size journal because, you know, it's not that big. So we're going to take it and trim it down just like that. We don't want to deal with a bow because it causes bulk. And the next thing you would do is open up your journal like this. Make sure it scores down. And see, here's how it would look. And you'd have your pocket right here, which is where our tag is going to go. I'm going to have to cut the tag off a little bit. Yeah. But anyway, the tag slides in there, and the book goes this way and this way. And then you tie it with some string. I'm going to use seam binding. Or you can use silk, I'm sorry, I'm hurrying, and so I'm drawing a blank. That's going to bug me now. I'll tell you in the next video. Anyway, and you can just tie it right around the outside. And I did get this a little crooked, as you can see, and again, it's because I was rushing, but I'll fix all that. All right, guys, see you in the next video where we're going to decorate some of this ephemera we've made. You guys, please subscribe if you haven't, and give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed today's video. Bye now. Welcome new subscribers.